Chapter 9. Mastering Non-Verbal Communication and Subtle Influence. The vast majority of human communication happens below the level of conscious awareness through micro-expressions, body language, vocal tonality, and energy patterns that our brains process instantaneously but rarely analyze explicitly. People with magnetic attraction have typically developed, often unconsciously, the ability to communicate powerfully through these non-verbal channels while remaining sensitive to the non-verbal communications of others. The science of non-verbal communication reveals that humans are constantly transmitting and receiving emotional and social information through channels that operate faster than conscious thought. Within milliseconds of encountering someone, your brain has assessed their emotional state, confidence level, social status, and potential threat or attraction level based primarily on non-verbal cues. This means that your non-verbal communication is constantly shaping how others perceive and respond to you, regardless of what you're saying with words. People who understand and master these subtle communication channels have an enormous advantage in creating attraction, influence, and connection because they're communicating effectively on the channels that have the greatest impact. The foundation of powerful non-verbal communication is congruence between your internal state and external expression. When your thoughts, emotions, and intentions are aligned and authentic, your non-verbal communication naturally becomes more powerful and attractive. When there's incongruence between what you're thinking and feeling internally and what you're expressing externally, people sense something is off, even if they can't articulate what it is. This is why working on your internal state is so crucial for developing attractive, non-verbal communication. You can't fake the micro-expressions, energy patterns, and subtle cues that emerge from genuine confidence, emotional stability, and authentic interest in others. These qualities must be developed genuinely to be communicated authentically. Facial expressions are one of the most powerful forms of non-verbal communication. Yet most people are largely unconscious of what their face is communicating. Research has identified dozens of distinct facial expressions that convey specific emotions and social information. Learning to recognize these expressions in others and become more conscious of your own facial communication can dramatically improve your social effectiveness. The most important facial communication skills involve eye contact patterns, genuine versus forced smiling, and overall facial relaxation. Genuine eye contact involves looking at someone when they're speaking to demonstrate attention and respect. Making contact when you're speaking to emphasize important points and breaking contact naturally to avoid creating intensity or pressure. A genuine smile involves not just the mouth but the entire face, particularly the eyes. Fake smiles are easily detected because they don't engage the muscle around the eyes that create the slight squinting and wrinkles that accompany authentic positive emotion. Learning to smile genuinely when you feel positive and to maintain a neutral but pleasant expression when you don't feel particularly positive is more attractive than forcing fake smiles. Vocal tonality carries enormous amounts of emotional and social information. The pace, pitch, volume, and resonance of your voice communicate confidence, emotional state, and social positioning more powerfully than the words you're speaking. Most people are unconscious of their vocal patterns and how they affect others' perceptions and responses. Attractive vocal communication is typically characterized by speaking from a relaxed, grounded place in your body rather than from tension or anxiety. This usually results in a slightly deeper, more resonant voice that carries well without being loud or forced. The pace is moderate, allowing for clear articulation and giving listeners time to process information. Vocal confidence also involves being comfortable with pauses and silence rather than filling every moment with sound. Strategic pauses can emphasize important points, give others time to respond, and demonstrate that you're not anxious about maintaining constant verbal output. Posture and body positioning communicate social status, confidence, and emotional state more quickly than any other form of non-verbal communication. Open, upright postures generally signal confidence and approachability, while closed, collapsed postures tend to signal insecurity or defensiveness. However, the key is not to adopt rigid power poses, but to find postures that feel both confident and authentic to you. This usually involves maintaining an upright spine, keeping your shoulders back but relaxed, and positioning your body in a way that demonstrates engagement with your environment and the people in it. The way you use space also communicates important social information. Taking up appropriate space demonstrates confidence without being inconsiderate. This involves being aware of how much physical space you're occupying and whether it's appropriate for the context and the comfort of others around you. Gesture patterns significantly impact how your communication is received and understood. Open gestures, where your palms are visible and your movements are fluid, tend to be perceived as more trustworthy and engaging than closed gestures or sharp, jerky movements. The key is developing gestures that feel natural and support your verbal communication rather than distracting from it. This usually means using gestures that emerge from genuine enthusiasm or emphasis, rather than trying to adopt prescribed hand movements that don't match your personality or communication style. Energy and presence are perhaps the most subtle but powerful forms of non-verbal communication. Your overall energy level, emotional state, and quality of attention create an invisible but palpable influence on everyone around you. People can sense whether you're genuinely present and engaged or distracted and disconnected, whether you're calm and centered or anxious and scattered. Developing attractive energy and presence requires working on your internal state through practices like meditation, physical exercise, emotional regulation techniques, and stress management. When your internal state is calm, confident, and genuinely interested in others, this naturally expresses itself in your energy and presence without any need for performance or technique. Subtle influence through non-verbal communication involves understanding how your presence affects others and learning to create positive experiences for the people around you. This doesn't mean manipulation or trying to control others' responses. It means becoming skilled at creating environments where others feel comfortable, valued, and appreciated. This might involve matching the energy level of others when appropriate, using mirroring techniques to create unconscious rapport, or simply maintaining such positive, stable energy that others feel better when they're around you. The goal is always to create mutual benefit and positive experiences rather than one-sided advantage. Reading others' non-verbal communication is equally important for developing social intelligence and attraction. Learning to recognize signs of comfort and discomfort, interest and boredom, agreement and disagreement, allows you to adjust your approach and respond more effectively to others' needs and preferences. This skill develops through conscious observation and practice. Start paying attention to how people's facial expressions, postures, and energy levels change throughout conversations. Notice the non-verbal signs that indicate someone is engaged versus distracted. comfortable versus uncomfortable, interested versus polite but disengaged. The mastery of nonverbal communication is not about becoming a perfect performer, but about developing authentic presence and communication skills that allow your best qualities to be expressed naturally and powerfully. When your nonverbal communication is congruent with your genuine thoughts and feelings, it becomes a powerful tool for creating attraction, connection, and positive influence in all your relationships.